Hey Nolan, how are you?
Good, Zach. How's it going, man?
Going pretty good. You ready to get started here?
Yeah, shoot.
All right, so my first question for you is how did you get into racing?
Wow, it was a long time ago. uh, I got into racing back in the early 90s. I went to school with a former Cup driver back in the day, his sons, and we went to school together. And I was going to Daytona back in the 80s with my family, and then also going to the racetrack with the Saxes, and then I that's how I just caught the bug and bought a mini stock, a Ford Pinto in 1991, and started racing the local tracks around Central Florida, and went off from there.
What is your favorite track that you have raced on? Obviously, you've raced on Talladega and Daytona, some of the most famous tracks in all of NASCAR.
Yeah, I'd say I have a lot of favorites, and there's a lot of favorites that I haven't been on yet that I want to be on, but I'd say as of right now, Daytona would be my favorite track because of the history and the emotional the draw to that, man. I've been going to that racetrack forever. So there's a deep emotional tie to Daytona. I love the track. But I also love Bristol. That's so two totally different racetracks, but Bristol is a lot of fun. I've only had the opportunity to run there one time so far, but that was a blast. So I look forward to that place again as well too.
Is there someone in the garage area that you look up to as like a mentor or as even like a close friend that you might have?
Sure. I mean, there's a everybody in the sport has a lot of those people. It's not usually just one in particular. There's a whole host. So I always feel it kind of does injustice to all the people that you have, that have been a part of your journey and your career, because it takes a lot of people to make one person go around a racetrack. It takes an army of people, of family, friends, and a lot of people that you work with. Cole Robinson has always been one of those guys. He's Australian NASCAR driver himself, retired now. And also, I'd say right now, Jerry Nadeau. Him and I have been close buddies, and he's been helping me resurrect the career and come back into Arca. So those would be two that I would say that are pretty high on the list.
Okay. How did you get in touch with the Kimmel family? I know that you raced for them in Arca. How did you get like in touch with them?
Um, you know, I've been talking to Andy Hillenberg here and there for the last several years, and a good buddy of mine that I used to work with back in the day, John Claggett, was at Andy's got his number, and I was looking at options of coming back and starting and running at Daytona in an ARCA race. And Andy gave me Bill's number because I believe at this was back in 2023. Andy didn't have, or 24, I can't remember, somewhere in there. Andy was all full, didn't have a ride, so he gave me Bill Kimball's number. I gave him a call, and we started talking in early 24, and we were able to put something together for me to run with them for my first race back in 25. So, and they're a great group of people. Bill Kimmel, Will, Zach, Eric. There's a whole team that are just really great dudes. So I've had a blast with the races we've run with them so far.
So when you have the mechanical failure like you did at Daytona last season, what adjustments did you have to make, whether it was physically or mentally, to go into Talladega prepared?
Yeah, it's a good question. But I will say our mechanical failure was caused to that big crash at the start of the ARCA 200 in 2025. If we hadn't gotten tangled up in that, which basically tore up the whole front end of the car, which when I had to come back in, we had to put tie straps around the radiator and so forth. So when we got back out and we ran maybe another 18 laps. The one of the ratchet straps kind of rubbed into the oil cooler, and then we started losing some oil. So So if it hadn't been for the wreck, we wouldn't have had to make any adjustments, and we still really didn't, except rebuild the car, the front end of the car to go to Talladega, which was good. So and that car, it was a solid car, not a great car, but it was a good solid car.
Can you explain what happened to cause the DNQ at Daytona this season?
Yes. It's so we have this is a brand new race car that LeVar Scott actually ran for Rev Racing back in 2025. So I've raced against this car. It's a speedway car. He ran, I think he led a quarter of the race at Daytona last year with this car and finished, I think Butterbean passed him with 5 to go to win the race, but I think he finished fifth, and that car was running top five at Talladega last year as well too. It's a really great car. So when we went to the test in January this year in single and two car runs, which is the only really fair way to compare speed, because if you go out with a bunch of cars, you're going to post a faster time if you go out with two cars. So we were top, I'd say top three, top five in speed out of 50 cars that were there. So the car was terrific. When we came back at February, um, the speed seemed a little bit down, but we were still good. The reason we did not qualify, and I don't know if you know the whole Arca procedure, how they do it. They don't send one car out, make two laps, and you take your fastest speed and move on. So what the Arca Menard series does at Daytona, you do a random draw of six cars
Yeah,
or six or seven, right? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
They do that random draw, and you better hope. There's so many things that can happen. You better hope to have some speed in the other cars in your pack, and you also better hope that nothing weird happens because you only have about 4 minutes by the time you leave pit road. That's your time. So it gives you maybe about 3 laps. What happened was when we got up into turns one and two, we were about to shift from third to fourth. For some reason, somebody checked up. And I still wasn't expecting anyone to slow down on a qualifying lap.
Yeah.
And I think Tony in the one car slowed down, and I got out of the gas, but I was expecting it to be quick. People got way out of it. I got it in the back of the one. Didn't really do any damage to any cars, but it was just enough to hurt our momentum. And then Jake Finch was leading the pack up front. I think three of them broke away. I think Willie Mullins broke. It separated the pack. We ran 2 laps with basically no drafting help. And if that happens, you don't make the race. And it doesn't matter if you're one of the Gibbs cars, you're not going to make the race. You have to be in a pack of at least 3 cars to go out and put a fast enough speed on the board to be able to make the race. So um, I'm not overly happy about. I don't enjoy that part of the qualifying and the way Arca does it, but it's everyone has to do it, so we'll go at it and we'll try it again this year.
For these super speedway races, obviously there's 40 cars that make the race. How many cars actually apply to like qualify? How many cars is there?
Yeah, it really depends. It's from year to year. This last year at Daytona, I think there were 50, and you had 36 make it on time, and then there are about 4 provisionals for a number of reasons of in the ARCA rule book, so which gets a little more complicated. So think about 36 make it on speed, and then 4 of them uh, could have been if you were higher in the points. Let's say you had a bad qualifying day like we did,
Yeah.
and you were fifth in points. You're going to get one of those spots. Whereas the 69 car, the Kimmels only ran. I mean, we ran 2 races last year. Um, anyway, they weren't high in the points, so we weren't eligible for one of those 4 spots. So,
Okay. So can you see yourself doing more than just super speedways in the future for ARCA?
oh yeah, I want to run. I want to do a lot of racing, but in order to do a lot of racing, you need a lot of sponsorship.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at. The goal was to start with Daytona and run Talladega, and then I really want to get and run some more of the ARCA races, but I also want to run some of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races as well
Yeah.
too. But all of this is doable, but you have to have the sponsorship dollars to make it happen. So right now, I can realistically commit to we're going to go back to Daytona in 27 in February. Um, and I'd love to do more. We were trying to do truck races this year, just couldn't get a sponsor to do it. So yes, the goal is to do a bunch of racing, but at this point you can only afford to do what you can do. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at. So hopefully we'll run a lot more. If we don't run any more this year, we'll definitely run some next year, more than a couple.
Hmm. So, what is your favorite paint scheme that you have ran in Arca? I know that you've ran three-ish cars, technically.
Yeah, that's true. Uh, I don't know. I'm hoping it's the paint scheme we come up with for Daytona in February. I hope that's the coolest one.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I like the blue that we had when we ran in 25, and which was it was a cool look. And I really this red car that we came to qualify with this year was kind of a throwback to my late model days, which
Okay.
I had an all red a late model, which I ran a bunch and won a bunch. So it was kind of fitting to we had a bunch of the people at the race. Cole from Australia, people came from everywhere down. So I thought it was a really cool paint scheme to have a little throwback, your own personal throwback. So
Yeah.
so we're going to change that regardless, because anything that happened this year we're going to change for next year.
Yeah.
So change the color. So we'll have a good one for next year for sure.
Okay. What are some things that you like to do for fun, like when you're not racing?
Well, I work a lot. I have a couple businesses, so that takes up 90% of my time.
Hmm.
But I like to travel, scuba dive, anything sports related. Got the World Cup game on right now. Went to the World Cup game last week in Kansas
Really?
City. Yeah, it was cool. The Netherlands and uh, oh geez, forgot who they even played. But anyway, they won. So yeah, so a lot of travel, a lot of sports, and a little bit of little poker as well too. I'm headed out tomorrow to Vegas for the main event in Las Vegas. So something that I do every year.
Okay. So my last question for you is, what is some advice that you can give to someone trying to get into racing?
Uh, it takes a lot of you have to really want it. Um, is is number one, and number two, understand that the funding aspect of it is the biggest part of it. So if you have the capability to have the dollars to go race, then it's just associating yourself with really good people, really good teams, and when you're first getting in, it's really about laps. So getting a car, getting a good car, and going out and running week in, week out. That's what will take to. You need those laps over time to get yourself better, to get down to the road to compete against some of these four national series if we're talking about stock car racing. So yeah, I would say practice, 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 find lots of sponsorship, and have fun, and just ride it as long as you can.
I guess I've got one more question since we've been
Shoot.
talking. So is it you or is it the team that has to reach out to the sponsors to like get you a sponsorship?
Typically, it can be both. If you're talking about the Cup Series, usually it's teams
Yeah.
that reach out to try to get the sponsors. And you've seen it when a driver's at a team, he's running for a certain, he's got whatever the car sponsorship, he leaves, but that sponsor stays with that team.
Yeah.
But there are some occasions where the sponsor will follow the driver. So there could be the relationship between driver and sponsor, which they call them partners now. I guess it sounds more important, or
Yeah.
more 2020 mid 2020s. So it could be either way, and I think at kind of at the lower levels, when you're starting out on up, it's always going to be usually the driver that's going to go out. And if you're fortunate enough to drive for a team that has a sponsor, you won't need to do much of that. But that's very, very rare. I mean, you got
Yeah.
to be a pretty good talent, but still, you got to get behind the wheel to show your stuff, right? In order for
Hmm.
anyone to see, hey, this driver's super talented, they have to be going out and really light the world on fire, because there's a lot of race car drivers out there. So So yeah, I'd say the majority of it would be the driver going out and doing everything they can, he or she can do to get partnership enough to get your career started.
Okay. And what type of car that you have ran would be your favorite, whether it's the Arca car or it's the late model?
Uh, I mean, I've been behind the wheel of pretty much everything from late models to the Goodies Dash series to Arca to Cup cars to trucks. Um, I've driven them all. I've always actually enjoyed driving the heavier cars, and I'm talking more of Arca truck cup
Yeah.
type of cars. Not the new cup. I haven't driven those. This is the when I'm talking a few years back before they changed to the new deal.
Yep.
But anything that has a lot of weight, 3,500 pounds, 900 horsepower, that fits my driving style better. I like the late models. They're a lot of fun. But you've also noticed maybe that there's some drivers that are really good at late models, not so good at running the heavier cars and the higher horsepower, and
Yeah.
vice versa. So it's a big adjustment that it takes. But yes, I always prefer the heavier stock cars, like Arca Cup trucks with the more horsepower. That's always been my favorite.
I guess I have one more question that I forgot to put on the list. Would you say is your biggest career achievement?
Uh, I guess I don't know. I think about some of the wins racing in the late models back in the day. I think about getting a top 10 at Daytona in the NASCAR Dash Series back in 2001. Um, I think about getting to test for a cup team and being considered, as a test driver for that team. And also, I consider now coming back and being able to race, you know, mix it up and be back in running some ARCA races here in the mid 20s after 20 some years away. So,
Yeah.
um, those are all special moments. So, I'm hoping that the biggest moment's yet to come. So, and there's a good chance it will. So,
Yeah.
uh, I'm a forever optimist, and I believe in what we're doing right now, and I think we're gonna surprise some people if we can avoid. We haven't had the best luck here in
Yeah.
the past three outings. So I'm hoping. Actually, I'm not hoping. I know we're going to surprise some people and actually accomplish my favorite memory, which I'm going to say is coming up in the near future.
Well, good luck with that. Thank you for hopping on a call with me.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, Zach.